Good morning from a very cold day in Buenos Aires. I am honored to speak today with Martina Russo, the action sports translator Faith, here with us today. Martina is the founder of this company and the CEO. And after starting her career as a marketing translator in 2010, and launched a successful software localization agency some years later. She was horrified at the quality of some multilingual content of the outdoor industry. So she studied the Action Sports Translator to fill that clear gap. And today we have Martina with us. Welcome, Martina, to Attitudable Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And yeah, very nice to be here and chatting with you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for you because you are in summer, as we can see. It's afternoon, right, in Switzerland that you are right now? Well,
Yes, it's actually funny because if anyone is in Switzerland, maybe they will know, but it's been raining for weeks and weeks and weeks. And this is now the first few days where it's actually summer, but it's still not that hot. So you can see that I've got a bit of a. And
yeah.
I was up at 1,500 meters for the past 2 months, and I was constantly stuck in a cloud. So now I'm like, oh, finally it's a bit sunny, so it's quite nice. Yes.
So you are just beginning summer approximately.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. But at least rain stops, so it's better.
So far, yes. I think it's still gonna be a little bit up and down, but it looks like it's better now. It's not like a constant
Great.
anymore.
Yes, I imagine. Well, climate is crazy right now. In Argentina, in Buenos Aires, where I am, it doesn't snow. It's cold, but it's never too cold. But these past days have been very, very cold. That's not very usual as well. So,
I have been following because I guess we're going to talk about that, but I am, of course, really into snowboarding, and I've actually been following a lot of what's going on in Argentina. I see that it's,
yeah,
I think it's been like the most snowed in for the past 30 years or something. So I am very like checking what's going on there.
yes.
So I know.
You have to come. The south of Argentina, there are many ski, very well, good
I'm not sure if it's me. Okay,
Now
you're
we are
back.
back. I don't know what
Okay,
happened. Yes.
freeze. Okay.
Have you ever been here to ski?
Nope, I have not been to Argentina. I've been keeping my eyes on Chile and Argentina for snowboarding, winter sports, but I haven't yet. No, I've just been on this side of the world so far.
Well, hopefully you will have some clients or someone who needs you here and you can come because in this July, August, or perhaps earlier, depending on the year, as you said, they are very, very good places to come.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
that would
you
be
are
nice.
right.
It's on my
And
list.
well, Martina, yes, yes, let us know when you're here. It's a long way from Europe, but you can come to South America in
Yeah,
winter so as to enjoy. Which
yeah.
your favorite season, winter or summer for the sport? Your favorite type of sport?
It's difficult. Probably winter because in summer you cannot climb so much either when it's too hot, and you cannot snowboard. So, and I think in a lot of places, for example, I've started kite surfing a little bit, and also I think sometimes it's better conditions in winter. It really depends, but most I would say probably winter. Yeah,
Ah, winter, yes, great. I imagine because I see you always snowboarding and in the snow all the time. So
yeah.
right now, today is Friday. Today is Tuesday. So we know that Martina. I wish it was Friday. It
Feels
were
like
Friday.
Friday, but it's Tuesday.
And Mar- because we were talking, do you remember some minutes earlier? We were talking about our week, and
Yeah,
Martina said that i- like almost the whole week she is fully booked and she cannot enjoy like summer a lot, but Friday is her day, so she will have more time to go outdoors and do the sports she likes, and she keeps on working with words all day.
exactly.
Great. Martina, and let us know how because as translators, I am also a translator, and usually people tend to think that the translator's life is very isolated, very not boring, but more like a routinary, because you all days you do the same, you turn on your computer, you type, you keep on working, and you are mostly quiet, let's say, sitting all day and working in an office. And how about you? Because you are also a translator, a language specialist for many years. How that change in your life?
I think if I were to sit in an office with like a super big setup and that's the only place that I can work from, I would probably go crazy because I already work so many hours every day. So to me, the only way to keep myself motivated is also to change it up. So when I was, now that I'm running this agency, but also before I've been, I guess you could say, digital nomad before this became like a thing. So ever since I was very young, I was always moving around a lot with my laptop and just changing countries and just slow traveling though, because of course if you have a business that you need to run, whether you're a freelance translator or you run an agency, you can change like every 2 days your location. So that done like in a sustainable way, but also within the day. I am in the house, as you can see, but don't know if you can see down there. My van is there, so sometimes if I get bored of working in the house, I move to the van, because I have my van is converted. In the back it's like it's got like a whole office setup. So sometimes I like to take the van and go up the mountain and work from the mountain, or when it's winter and I'm going snowboarding or climbing, I will take my laptop to the crag or to the mountain. So I try to change it up a little bit as much as I can.
Ah, that's great. And you were able to do that and keep on working, and even not even now, and growing a lot and scaling your business,
Yes.
like
Because
disrupting the usual way a translator works, let's say.
yes, because even though I change, my surrounding and I do all these different things, I still have that somehow. I don't know how, but I'm very disciplined when it comes to putting in the work. So, and I've grown very used to being extremely productive and very focused, even if there is like all sorts of stuff going on around me. So I'm able to do that.
Ah, that's great. Yes. And because how do you manage to do that? Because sometimes it's very difficult to keep concentrated, even though it's quiet. But I imagine if you have a lot of things and people and places and all that.
Yeah, I just zone out, or if I really want to focus, I will put my earphones in and will blast some music. I usually
Ah,
like to listen to, I only like to listen to electronic music. So it's very like, it's beats, there's no words. So it's just actually what's the word? Pumps me up to like,
yes,
be more
yes.
productive. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. And also like, I don't feel like I
Wow.
have to be stuck between four walls and because I also tend to work very, very, very long hours. So the ability to just change my surroundings makes me a little bit more, yeah, just motivated and inspired, I guess.
Exactly. And do you work mostly, or your company mostly, with translations or interpretations, like doing like written documents or oral?
We don't do any interpreting. We do translation,
No.
but then also copy and content writing. and then across a lot of different content types, but only within the
Yes.
outdoor industry.
So you also do copywriting on that, like, yes, and as you said
Yeah,
on your
yeah, we have
website, transcreation and all
yeah.
localization, how important that, and most even more in very specialized fields like the one that you work on.
Yeah, exactly. We have a whole team that takes care of copy and content writing projects, and then then we have somebody who takes care of transcreation projects, and then everything else is translation. But translation is an umbrella term, which really for us it means marketing translation, localization, video subtitling, video localization, and everything in between.
Great, amazing. Yes, the videos are super important nowadays. Everything is recorded and on video. And
Mm.
from your very beginnings, you also were a marketing translator. So from your passion is there, like with the creative arts, let's say.
Well, yes, because when I started translation, which was 2010, I was still I had just started studying, but quite quickly I picked up my first client. And at the time, I was studying. Part of my studies was marketing studies, like traditional marketing, right? So I
Mhm.
thought that I am specializing in marketing translation, but then I learned that, I figured out that marketing translation isn't really a specialization. It's more like the type of translation that you do. And then I was just, doing marketing translation across a bunch of different, like a lot of different industries. So yeah, that was kind of how it started. But also for me, it was more natural to work on marketing texts, and I never really felt comfortable with technical, scientific, medical, legal, like all that stuff. If that would be the only option to do translations, I would have not done it. Like I would have changed careers,
Mm.
to be honest.
Yes, because your passion, I mean, you know what you love doing and you are good at that because you keep on working on that, no? What makes you flow, let's say. There's a question here from Gustavo. He asked, thanks, Gustavo, for your question. Oh, I cannot see it anymore. Here.
Ah,
How
let me
did you
see.
break into video localization?
So, funnily enough, my very, very first client that I just mentioned, um, first of all, I acquired this client in a very um, unique way. At the time, as I was studying, I was working as a check-in agent at the national airline of Italy. So I was checking in people onto flights. Okay.
Mm.
And I had just come back from living in Germany for a few months. And so I was very chatting with people from different languages and cultures. And this person was a German passenger. And so we were chatting, and I explained that I am studying to be a translator, or I've started my studies. And he said, "Oh, we always need translators." And so he gave me his business card, and that became my first client from the very beginning. And this guy owned a language learning video company, so to speak. And
Wow.
so for the first 3 years, I was always working like on a daily basis with this company, and I always had to subtitle their movies and videos, which were created with a specific program to then teach people to learn languages. So that was my very first experience of doing that. And then because I
Mhm.
started doing that, then I also, naturally moved into subtitling and studied that a little bit as well. Then I was doing, work for through different agencies for Netflix and other providers. And then in 2015, I also started studying a master's degree in audiovisual translation, but I didn't finish it because I ended up realizing that it
Oh,
wasn't free. But yeah.
but you are there and you like doing that, I think.
Yeah, well,
It's a good.
I liked doing that. We still do this as an agency these days. We do it a lot. A lot for our clients, but it's not something. So it's actually, I'm very happy that I have this experience because I know a lot of the technical things that we need to know as well. But yeah, I don't do it myself anymore.
Yes, I imagine. Because you have a team, Martina, right? I mean, your company began some years ago and it began growing and growing and growing. And Martina works with a team of people, expert, specialized language, professionals. Would you like to tell us about how did you make or create that team of yours? Because also it's a big shift while working alone, doing everything yourself, and then having to delegate and organize and trust also other people.
Yes. So the very first time that I started outsourcing to other freelancers was, I think, it was sometime before 2015. I found this on the web. Oh, sorry, my Siri decided to talk.
No, no problem.
Okay,
We are
I started
live.
in.
Anything can happen.
Sorry.
No,
So I
no
started
worries.
sometime before, I think 2015. Then I stopped working for a while because of a family thing that happened. And then in 2018, and said, hey, we need translations into these, 4 languages or 5 or whatever. And that was 2016. So I started sort of managing projects more consistently into multiple languages. And so not long after, maybe within a few months, I decided to sort of set up like my first agency. So that was Moving Words, which still exists today, but I'm not really running it right now. It's a bit like on the back burner, which initially was marketing and translation. And then I went through rebranding, and then it became, because of some of the clients that I had, I decided that, okay, now I'm going to focus on software SaaS localization. Okay, so that was the beginning. Initially, I didn't need project managers because I was able to manage it myself. Then, at the same time, in 2018, I decided to start this other agency. So now, 5.5 years ago. And so, obviously, it's 2 agencies plus myself. I was still doing some one-to-one, translation work with some clients, consulting. So I first hired, I don't know, because now it feels like a blur. If it's not that long ago, but it feels like a blur now.
Yes,
But I hired
everything
a couple
feels
of
like.
people at first who were supposed to help me both with Moving Words and with the Action Sport Translator. But then at some point, I decided in 2020 maybe to stop working on Moving Words. Like we had some really big projects as well, so it was taking a lot of my time and energy. And so I think 2020 or 2021, I decided to focus completely on the Action Sport Translator. So these 2 people were managing both, were project managers, were moved over to work fully on the Action Sport Translator. And at the beginning, I was lucky. I was really lucky because I had no idea about hiring. I've never worked at an agency before. I have no clue. I had no clue about anything agency related. The only thing that I knew about agencies is what I saw as a freelance translator, which was actually very good because it really formed an idea of what I didn't want my agency to be. It's like,
Yes,
these are
that's
all of
right.
these agencies act like this, and I want us to act completely opposite, right? Um, so of course, not everything was, how do you say this in English, like roses, right? So
Yes,
rainbows and roses.
life
So
happens.
yeah, so there was also a few learning curves. But since this day, maybe 3 years ago, when we were 2, 3 people, we are now 2021, and we work
Wow.
now with 5, 6 project managers, maybe more now. I'm losing track. We have 3 account managers. Then we have 3 people work on the copy and content team, localization engineer, somebody works on the automation side of things. So like finance director, myself. So there's like a few, of us. And of course, learning to scale the business came with a lot of growing pains. So yeah. So right now, and I'm still like, we're still hiring a lot because there's just like a lot of demand for what we do. So it's a constant playing catch up with what
I
the clients need.
imagine, wow, because you have to manage all the client relationship and the way everyone also interacts, no, and the
Yeah,
processes, the flow of the business, and all that.
yeah,
That keeps you
exactly.
very hectic, I imagine.
Yes. I like starting and running an agency. If you want to always have these really high standards, it's not for the faint of heart. You really need to
Yeah.
put into account that it's going to be extremely stressful. Of course, there's going to be really good things as well coming from it, but
Mhm.
it's really, really stressful. So
Yes. So it's good for you to balance that, as you said, and take your time also to then go and do the sports and all that. Because
exactly.
if not, there's a lot of stress, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though you choose your clients and you work with people who, I mean, you feel good. I mean, like it's a good way of working. Like you are not, of course, it's always
The
demanding. No, clients are demanding.
Yeah, the list of things to do is just never ending. And I mean, it's a very good problem to have, okay? Because we get a lot of leads all the time, a lot of clients. Then a lot of the time we start with maybe some people inside a company, and then this cooperation with this company grows. So more departments, more people come, and then it's just growing all the time, right? So it's and then you
Wow.
have to create documentation, update the documentation, update the process, make sure that everyone's doing well, blah blah blah. It's just like a constant, I I don't even know, a constant amount of things to do.
Yes, but you have all your processes and everything, so you have just to keep on like growing from there, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm actually now
Yeah.
also looking for somebody to help us hire, because otherwise it's just difficult for us. Right now, all the hiring is done between 4 people, but it's a bit of a mess. So we are looking to centralize this and just have one person who just does the hiring, just for positions within the core team. Whereas we do have a vendor manager, for 3 years already, 2 or 3 years, for
Mhm.
just the
Wow.
translators and stuff. So
Great. Martina, and you're based in Europe, right? So you work mainly with European clients, but also with other clients around the world.
yeah, we're very global. We are fully remote. We don't even have an office. So we, just fully embrace the globalness and remoteness of it all. We are actually, the company is based in Estonia, for the very simple reason that we don't have a physical office that we all go to. And so before it was in Italy, and then I was just considering, okay, Southern Europe, Italy, France, Spain, Portugal, maybe Portugal is a bit better, isn't the best in terms of
Mm.
digitalization. Everything is very bureaucratic. And so we were looking at, okay, which country allows us to do everything in the most digital way possible, considering the nature of our business. And so Estonia has this thing called the e-residency program, which basically is made for digital businesses. So that's why we have the office there. But then all of us are all over the place. So I move every 3 to 6 months. I change country or place within the country based on the season to do the sports. But then some of us are in Portugal, some of us are in Spain, some of us are in one of us is like in traveling through Africa. So it's just like a lot of different people. And then we do have some clients who are mainly in Europe, but then some clients are in the States and in Australia as well.
Great. And when you travel, you go and see them. I mean, you visit the offices and visit your clients, or there's no need to go.
Yeah, actually, I try to do this usually myself, just because I am the one who's traveling the most. So I will always try,
Mhm.
if I'm in a country, to make the effort to go, because it's true. I love working remotely. I've been doing this for a long time now, like a long, long, long
Mhm.
time. But just going and visiting somebody like your clients in person, there's just so much, like the relationship gets stronger, and then there's just so much information that you wouldn't normally get. And they're just, you spend a few hours with them versus a 30 minute Zoom call. So there is just so much more context that you get from that in-person visit. And
Yeah.
then sometimes some of our team members, we meet and then we go and visit the clients in person. Maybe we give them workshops, or yeah, usually it's because we give them some workshops.
Exactly. I saw some of your pictures that you share, LinkedIn or Instagram, that you also go and do the like that, like trainings or that kind of services. That's also very good.
Yeah, so we this is usually happening at the beginning of the cooperation with the client, but also sometimes after months. So we will, the client will let us know if they want to work, like to meet with us 1 day, 2 days. Recently, we did one for 1 day, we did one for half a day, and we did one for 3 days. So it really depends on how many things do we need to discuss, how messy is the process on the client side. Um, we really help them to get to a good place with their processes.
Wow, great. Martina, and what are your ideas for the future? I mean, the future maybe next year or 5 years long, or
You mean
do
for
you
us,
have?
for the company, or for
Yes,
the
for the
industry?
company and for you as a professional and the industry as well. If you would like to give us your opinion, it would be amazing.
So for me, for us, for the company, this is going to sound a little bit funny, maybe, but because we only work in the outdoor industry, right? So my goal, specifically to what we do, is world domination. I want us to work like I have, because I'm into all these sports myself, like snowboarding, climbing, kite surfing, hiking. Now I'm getting into mountain biking. So there's so many brands that I absolutely love. I have a crush on, and so I want us to be the provider that works with these brands. And I mean, it's pretty crazy the amount of new brands that we've got in the past 2 years, like, and how much we've grown. But yeah, that's kind of how the trajectory that I want to keep going. It's just working with all these brands that are, some of the best and most exciting brands in the world. And I have a list, of course. So I go that year by year.
Everything
Comes to, yeah, it's just like, and then when it comes to the industry, transition industry, I mean, to me, the trend is specialization, because we don't use AI that much at all. And I think I see the reality that I see with us and the reality that I hear about other translators. It's two completely different worlds. We position ourselves as very top, sort of premium end of the market with extreme specialization. And I can see that it's very similar what we do to people who are in a completely different specialization, but also have a similar positioning within that market. Whereas all these bulk agencies and freelancers who end up getting stuck working with these bulk agencies because they have to, maybe they don't have a specialization or for whatever reason, then it's difficult, because these agencies, they will always push for data. It's cheaper for them, it's easier to manage, and they get more profits. So but the silver lining is that we have a lot of clients, really big clients, who run away from agencies like those, like imagine the biggest translation agencies that you can think of, bottom feeders, blah blah blah, buy them, and they don't like them, so they run away. So it's not. And I've also gotten an insight into some of how these
Mhm.
big agencies work, and look at the results of these AI translations and all that stuff. I, for what we do, it's really not good enough. So
No good at all. Yeah.
there is some hope if you, yeah. But I would say looking to specialize in understand the concept of positioning, market segments, and all of that.
Yes. So you have your recommendation would be like translators or language specialists or professionals in order to survive, let's say, have to find their niche, and they are very, not, as you said, the broad term like legal or marketing, like a very specific um, topic or field to work on and go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine if you do legal, but it's very broad. That's not a specialization. It's very broad. I
Mhm.
mean, you really need to dig deeper and really to find your niche or specialization and make yourself that one person, I guess, who is resolving those problems for that specific market segment in your niche. So it's
Exactly.
very,
I
yeah.
agree. Completely agree because yes, because machine is growing and AI and the post edit of machine translators that many professionals are doing now and improving in a way, let's say the results or the output of the machine is not, it will never be the same. I agree completely. And Martina, well, we love talking to you. I'll spend so many hours listening to all your everything that you're doing. But we would like to give you time as you are very um, generous with us. And I wanted to ask you the final question. If you have like a favorite word, mantra, or phrase, whatever, to live by or that you like most right now because everything changes so right now, and if you can recommend us a book also to read, what are you reading?
So I don't know if I have a favorite word of mantra. I cannot really think of one, to be honest, at the moment.
No.
Um, so I'm just trying to see if there is anything that resonates with me, but just right
Or
off
a
the bat, I
word,
can't.
like your favorite word, if you have a favorite word or something that you continuously repeat, or sometimes, I don't know, Italians are, you are Italian, so your mother tongue is Italian, right? We didn't talk about languages. You translate Italian, your mother tongue is Italian, and you also work with how many languages?
But I personally, when I was translating from German, Spanish, and English, of course, into Italian. Now I don't
Okay.
because I am
Now
doing
you
the
have
whole
all
thing, and
the languages.
now we work with 600 translators, more or less. So it's pretty much any language that you can think of.
All the languages.
Um, yeah, and I speak a little bit of Greek because I live in Greece some of the
Wow.
year, and very, very little. I've already forgotten all my Greek now because I'm climbing in Greece
Wow.
usually. And somehow I don't really speak Portuguese, but I also speak Portuguese because being Italian and speaking Spanish, I am able. I studied just the
Yes.
pronunciation and some vocabulary, but I can have very long conversations in Portuguese. Portuguese from Portugal, though, not from Brazil.
Great. I
So
know. We should have spoken in Spanish as well. Well, no worries. Next
uh,
time.
exactly. But I usually do these conversations in English, so I think I even struggle in Italian because anything which is work related, I always do in English. So it's
In
English is
English,
my
yes, you're
language,
right.
and I struggle. Also, my partner is English, so I speak English all day, every day, anyway. So
Okay, yes, I know, I know. Great.
easier.
No, just you have a word, maybe a word in Italian or a word in Greek or whatever language, it doesn't
I'm
have
gonna
to
give you
be in
one in Greek,
English.
which I really like. It's just "Pame." I wonder if
Ah, I love it.
I wonder if there is any Greeks um, watching this or listening to this. Yeah, "Pame," which basically means let's go. And I think
Ah,
a lot of the time, when you're kind of stuck or you feel like you can't do it, then just kind of telling yourself you've got this. And also something which, because a lot of the time you always, I mean, I don't know who's listening or watching this, but I have always had a lot of imposter syndrome. I've always been comparing myself to others, thinking, oh, that person or that company are doing this and that, and I'm not, or we're not. But in the end, whenever you actually take a peek behind the curtains, nobody has it figured out. No one. Whenever you think that that person is like the most whatever and they've got their shit together, sorry, but they don't.
yeah, you're right.
So I think it's just, you've got this, and maybe Pame to make it like
Ah,
Greek, the Greek version.
I love it. We
And
will implement it. Pame, Pame with P. Pame,
Pame,
Pame.
Ella, Pame.
Yes.
And
Let's do it because we all have that.
yeah,
It's human
yeah,
shared.
exactly. And then
Mm.
it's, you asked me about the book, and I don't know because I don't really, I haven't got a lot of time to read recently. But right now I'm
Right.
reading a lot of books about leadership and management, because it's something that I have had to learn from scratch. I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing sometimes, a lot of the time. So that's kind of my focus right now. I think a few of these are, always principles that can be, like, you can still be a leader or leadership even if you're not managing a team. You can still be a leader within your community or showing your clients that you are a leader, like you've got leadership traits. So yeah, I don't know actually the name of the book. I think it's 50 Skills for a Leader or something like that. That's kind of the last one that I'm reading, but yeah.
Great. And you read it in English or in
Yeah,
Italian?
99% of books that I'm reading at the moment are in
In
English.
English.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
like myself as well. And I recommend you the one, I don't know if you know Daniel Kahneman, Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a very good book that I have just finished. And he said that upwards 90% of human decisions, the decisions that we take, are 90% are guided by emotions, like not logic or the pure, reasoning, but by emotion. So imagine more than 90% of all the decisions that we take, and all that has to do with business. I mean, it's a business book, but
Yeah.
you are dealing with emotions, with feelings in your
I
daily
wonder
life.
I wonder if the percentage would be different depending on the culture. I cannot imagine that, like, Germans or Swiss. I mean, no offense if you're German or Swiss, but I'm now in Switzerland. But like the typical, if you put an
Yes,
Italian or an Argentinian next to like a German or Swiss, it's a very different way of approaching things, right? So I'm wondering if this could be actually a really
you
good
are
book.
right.
Now that we're talking about this, it's a really good
Mhm.
book that I have read ages ago now. It's called, oh no, I forgot what it is. Think. So the author is Erin Meyer,
Mhm.
and I forgot the name of it now. But basically, it takes you through like all the different culture, like basically an overview of different cultures and what that means for communication. Which is,
That's great.
I think, if you work in translation, do you know which one? Do you know which book it is? Think
No,
cultural something.
but
Let me
it's
actually check. Erin Meyer.
Erin. I think
Erin Meyer, The Culture Map. Yeah, that's a really good book.
yes.
It's very
It's amazing. Yes, because as you said, this some statistics are global, but it really depends on the culture and the country of people. The feelings and the population.
yeah. I mean,
You are the
of course,
expert.
we're generalizing here, but there is a reason why
You're
there's some
right.
stereotypes about culture. So
Yes. Thanks a lot. Yes, because language is culture, and you're dealing with many cultures there, mainly in Europe, that everyone is very close but different
yeah,
at the same time.
yeah,
Yes,
true.
so we have to take that into account. Thanks a lot, Martina. It's been a real pleasure talking to you today and knowing more about your company, yourself, and your future. And so hopefully we will see you soon in Argentina, because the
Hopefully,
brands, fans, and the clients, hopefully some good clients come to Argentina as well that make you worth traveling here.
hopefully. I mean, who knows? But I will let you know. And thank you for inviting me. It was really nice chatting. And thank you to Gustavo, I think, who asked the question.
Yes, thank you.
So
Well, the culture map. Sorry, Gustavo just shared the link of this book
exactly,
that
that's
you
good.
talked about and
Yes,
recommend. Thanks, Gustavo.
exactly.
And for anyone who is not following you already, Martina, where they can find you?
Everywhere. So
I
if
know.
you obviously, if you find, it's actually funny because there is 4 other Italian, or 5, called Martina Russo, and one of them also works in translation. It's actually quite funny. But I'm, of course, the only one with the picture of myself, on with a snowboard in my hands. So if you go onto LinkedIn, you will find me like that. Otherwise, I use Instagram, but it's more about my adventure, sports, and stuff. So that's Martina_translate. And then you can always check out what we're doing. So that's theactionsporttranslator.com. And yeah, but also if you Google me, you will find millions of, because I'm everywhere.
Yes.
So you will find lots of entries.
And yeah, so everyone has to follow Martina because she shares a lot of the new sports that she's doing or the things that the company is working on. And we'll also write the notes with all her recommendations. And this also will be available at the podcast. Yes, so you can listen to the audio or watch the video as well on YouTube or LinkedIn. Thanks a lot, Martina. Hope to see
Thank
you
you.
soon in person. Bye bye. Thanks to all who joined us today. Thank you.